cream.
Is that what I think it is?
Yeah, it does scream, but I think it's dying.
What? Monsters Inc.?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's supposed to scream.
So it's got a battery. Well, it should be powered by screams, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or laughter.
We scare because we care.
That is
I have
so
so many
cool.
containers at the store.
That is really cool. Is that from Disneyland?
No, it's from the Disney store.
The Disney store, of course.
I have so many.
You probably got a huge discount when you were working there. Huge.
Not a huge discount, but some good perks that I didn't want to leave. But I
What
didn't
were the
get.
perks?
So
What are you doing, Turpin?
This is loose.
when you start, you get 20% off, and then I think once you're there for like 2 years, then it ups to 35% off regular price or sale price items. Like, oh, that's just weak.
Any perks in terms of Disney parks?
So in a year, we would get 2 comp passes, so complimentary passes, park hoppers. So they would give us, and so we get them in summer and then winter, and they last 2 years. And then we also got, after I was there, when I started, they didn't have it yet. It was just for Americans, but maybe a bit over a year I was there. Canadians finally got a main gate pass.
You always get things later.
Literally.
Yeah.
So we got a main gate, and we were allowed, it was to get us in for free, obviously, because we're cast members, we get in for free anyway, but then we were allowed to let in 3 other people in for free.
Wow.
Yeah, so I did take advantage of that a bit, but then COVID happened and ruined everything.
And then Bob Chapek closed the stores.
Yeah, we don't like Bob Chapek. And then Iger's back, and so we're like, wow, thank you, Iger. Why couldn't you just stay?
Yeah, but is he going to reopen the stores?
I doubt it. I don't think so.
So there are no more Disney stores in Canada?
No, not in the
Anywhere.
lower mainland,
Anywhere?
right? Yeah. I think the one even in Calgary is closed. Yeah, I don't think anywhere in Canada.
No, I don't think anywhere. They still have one in Times Square.
Yep.
They still have like outlet stores where
Yep.
they get rid of stuff. Like there is one at the premium outlets just south of us in Tulalip. But I think...
Oh, yes, that one. I've been there.
Yeah, but I think like brick and mortar Disney, that was Bob Chapek's thing. He's like, no, we're going to move the experience to online. And my argument at that point in time was Disney licenses so much merchandise that you can go on Amazon and buy Disney stuff. You don't go online to buy Disney stuff. You go to the Disney store for the experience of going to the store.
Exactly.
It was like going to a mini Disneyland.
Yeah.
Like every time I would walk into one.
Yeah, I loved being there.
Dayanara helped us pick out pajamas for Kyla.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
It was a great time.
Yes.
Love being a personal shopper. It's great. Did
Cool.
enjoy.
I think the last time I saw you before you visited here was at the Disney store.
Disney store. Yeah, I think I saw most of my teachers there.
Of course.
Yeah, Mr. Waldman came in a few times.
Well,
so
but he didn't go in for his kids. He went in for himself.
he did, honestly.
He's a Star Wars nut job.
We did have some good Star Wars.
So am I.
There's nothing wrong with that. Just making an observation.
How long did you work at the Disney store? Before you became, because you were a manager when you left.
Not when I left. So I became a seasonal manager kind of at the end. So I started right after high school. I got hired in August because you have to be 18 to work at the Disney store. And I thought you could be 16, but you cannot. So I'm like, oh, so you have to be an adult to work at a children's store. But
That's
okay.
hilarious. I love the irony.
Yeah, right. And so, so started right after high school. So I just turned 18 in June or 17. No, I think it was 18. No, 18 in June. So I was there till 20. So I was there for 4 years, and we closed in July 2021, I think. Yeah, that's when it closed, when Chapek closed them all. So yeah, I was there for 4 years. I was seasonal manager, I think in 2020, for around like Christmas time. I was seasonal manager for about 6 months or so, 4 months. And then you can also apply to be a Disney store ambassador. So that's like the best of the best. That's what, and you get like a little care package from Jonathan Story. So he's head of Disney stores. So I applied for that, and I really wanted
Jonathan Story?
That's his name.
That's not a made-up name.
That's not a made-up name. No.
That is not. Surprisingly, no.
Wow. That's a cool name.
It's pretty cool. And so you get a whole like little care package, like congratulations, like you're a Disney ambassador. So you get like this little thing. It's signed by him. You get like this little kind of trophy plaque with your name on it. And then you get like this thing that goes on your name tag at the Disney store that says ambassador. So it's a important, not important, but it's.
So what does it mean when you're ambassador?
It just means like you know the best Disney knowledge. You know everything about like you kind of like are the
go-to.
Yeah, your go-to person, and you're pretty much you're better than everybody else because you're ambassador. So
elitism.
Like, there's pretty much it doesn't really change anything. Like you don't get it. Like someone's like, oh, do you get a raise? And I'm like, no, it's literally just the name, and then you get like a fun little package. So
That's cool. Still cool though.
It's free stuff.
You must own a Disney trivia.
I remember when I was here, you did Disney trivia.
Did I?
Yeah,
we did it. Yeah, like on was it Star Wars Day or something?
It was Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
It was Mickey Mouse's anniversary because he.
Oh right.
That would have been that would have been 27.
Was that when we gave away the Funkos?
When we gave away the Funko to David.
That's right.
David Valencia won it.
He got a Steamboat Willie.
No, we couldn't find Steamboat Willie. We found Firefighter Mickey.
Okay.
They have some nice Funkos. I have so many Funkos.
Yeah.
There's too many.
Yeah. So, you have loved Disney for a long time.
Have we done an intro? Did I miss the intro?
No, I typically don't do an intro because podcasts have an intro. Maybe you're not familiar with podcasts. Okay, you do an intro.
How many times have I been on this one?
Okay, do the intro.
I'm new here.
Let's get ready to rumble. No. It's Turpin and Kong, and we're here with Dayanara Sinclair.
Hi.
Alumni, class of
2017.
2017.
Like 6 years.
Holy smokes. Where does the time go? And I remember teaching you in English 11. Mm-hmm. And at that time, we bonded over Disney. Mm-hmm. And I remember you telling me that you wanted to animate for Disney. And not that I ever doubted you, but I was just like, yeah, of course. Here we are, little one-story cinder block building in North Delta, and student with dreams of grandeur. You keep dreaming, because a dream is a wish your heart makes, right?
Yeah.
Is that really what you thought?
You thought of me?
No. But I would like. No. I obviously I have high expectations and high hopes for my students.
I knew you were going to be getting somewhere. Yeah.
Yes.
Did I ever teach you?
No.
Hilarious.
Oh.
ADST, probably.
Maybe like
right? Like grade 8.
Yeah, I think grade 8.
I taught
that
everyone.
That was literally the only time.
That was the only time. Yeah. But I still knew.
Exactly. You still knew grade 8. I didn't even know what I wanted to do in grade 8.
I knew you were a talented artist.
Yeah.
And I knew you were incredibly passionate. And I knew you were driven. And why putting those three things together didn't just, oh yeah, of course she's going to make it. Of course she is. But you did it. You made it.
I made it.
And now you are working for?
Icon Creative Studios, working on a Disney Junior TV show. So it's on Disney Junior TV right now.
Not on Disney Plus in Canada.
No, because Disney
likes to do weird things with their own licenses.
Yeah, and we don't have any merch out here either. It's all in the States or on Amazon. So I had to go to Target and get my merch.
Wow.
Yeah, sad.
Did you get a discount?
Of course not.
No, of course not.
Mom told the Target guy, so he was proud of me.
That's nice. The Target guy knows who made that.
He knows who made Alice's Wonderland Bakery. I made this.
Yes.
My daughter made this.
And the show is called Alice's Wonderland Bakery.
It is.
Can you give us a little rundown of the show?
Okay, so it's kind of like Alice. So Alice, like kind of your old school cartoon. So like the classic Alice, but this is Alice's great-great-granddaughter. Her name is Alice.
Of course.
And why else would her name be anything else?
Yep.
And then so we still have kind of the OG characters of the original film, but kind of switched up for children. So we have Alice, we have Hattie. So instead of the Mad Hatter, they're all children. Mm-hmm. So Alice, Hattie, Rosa is the daughter of the Queen of Hearts, and Fergie is going to be like the rabbits.
Okay.
Like the rabbit's son.
Yep.
So the main squad is Alice, Fergie, Hattie, Rosa, And then we have Cookie the cookbook. So she's the one that goes through all the recipes. So each episode is they're going to be making something different. And of course, the children's show has like a meaning behind it. So each show has like a reason for showing it. So
of course,
a reason for that. Yeah. So,
there's recipes. So it's like a cooking show as well.
Literally
or
a
baking show.
A very Wonderland baking show.
So it's not like the kids could go to the kitchen and make these recipes.
Absolutely not. You can very try, and because we have like there's like what's it called, like bread and butterflies. There's like upside down jam. Like I don't know the names for things. Like it's the normal foods, but then with like a Wonderland twist.
Of course.
So, yeah.
Some butterflies.
Do they make it? Do they make an unbirthday cake?
They do. Hattie has had many unbirthdays in season 1. I think he had like 3, and then Rosa had an unbirthday party.
Okay, what's an unbirthday? Sorry.
Have you not seen the original Alice in Wonderland?
Like the really old one?
Like the, oh my goodness.
Or even the live
animated
action
one?
The animated one, yes.
The animated one
It's been such a long time.
Yeah, same.
I'm going to try and remember the year now that it came out.
It's got to be, what, 70s?
No. It was before that. I
60s?
would have actually said late 50s.
Okay.
And I gotta Google.
Yeah.
But so an unbirthday is when you have a birthday when it's not actually your birthday.
Yeah.
So it could be like any day. Because right now, Mr. Cunning, it'd be like happy unbirthday.
Yeah.
And then we throw a big party for you.
Is it like when you walk into Denny's and tell them it's your birthday and then you get free meals?
Yeah.
No, that's unethical.
I think you have to show your ID now at Denny's.
That's
So
unethical. I see.
Yeah. And then they sing a song, A Very Merry Unbirthday.
Yep. Oh yeah, there's songs. This is also a musical TV show, Alice's Wonderland
I love
Bakery.
it.
So we have a lot of fun songs. Song sequences I get to animate. It's a lot of fun.
My children are right now at the age where they are loving the Disney Junior lineup that we do get on Disney Plus. My youngest is really into Tots, which I believe was one of your studio's
Yep, my
shows.
studio did that. We sold a lot of merch.
Yep. My eldest is super into early 50s, 1951.
Yeah. Oh
So that would have been right on the heels of Cinderella.
Yeah.
Cinderella was 1950. My eldest right now is really into Elena of Avalar, which is a cool show.
Did that too.
Yeah, you did that one as well.
Yeah, well, I
Wow.
didn't personally studio
Right,
did,
right.
but I'm just like I knew about all these because
Yep.
we sold them at the Disney store. So
Of
I'm
course,
like,
yeah.
Once I found out, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to work here because they work on Disney stuff.
Yeah.
So, but Elena was popular.
We've dabbled in The Rocketeer,
Okay,
which I thought was
heard of
really cool
it.
because I was a big
That's
fan
cool.
of the movie The Rocketeer, and they did a Disney Junior show,
Oh, it's an animated.
show. Sophia the First. We've done Muppet.
Oh, I know Sophia the First.
Muppet Babies. We've done a lot of Muppet Babies, but the shows are so good. Like, there's some stuff out there, and I don't want to put Dayanara's career in any trouble here, so I'm not going to badmouth anything. But there might be like a particular swine from England that I'm not as big a fan of that my children have enjoyed from time to time.
Peppa Pig.
I wasn't going to name any names, but like I can actually watch these Disney Junior shows. Like they're quality shows.
ones, yeah.
They're entertaining and they're really cute and I really want to watch Alice's Wonderland Bakery.
I know. I wish it was on Disney Plus. So Disney needs to get that in order because Canadians like Disney too. So
100% we do.
realize that.
100%.
I wonder how they decide what
I would love
goes.
to know.
There must be some marketing research, or maybe none.
Who knows?
None at all. They're just winging it.
Who knows? I think
can't be winging it.
what I actually think, and I could be wrong here, but I think you can order Disney Junior as a premium cable channel.
Yes.
So companies like Rogers and Bell have a license to have Disney Junior so that they can sell premium cable. And because of that license, they can't put those shows onto Disney Plus.
That makes sense now.
Oh, yeah, because you can get, like, a lot of people, of my friends, they don't have Disney, they do have Disney Plus, sorry. They don't have Disney Junior cable channel.
Yes.
Because it's an extra, like, couple dollars
Yes.
to add on your thing, and it's just, why?
Especially when you're already paying for Disney Plus.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
why I
yeah.
don't understand why you can't have everything on it.
Yeah.
Disney.
Well, sometimes they remove things. I was watching Amazing Race.
Yes.
We were going back through all the seasons,
Used to be
and
so
we were
good.
like halfway through a season, and it just disappeared.
No.
And our family was devastated because we were really
Yes.
into it. And,
Like, where are you
and it was
supposed to watch it
gone.
now?
Yeah. Why do you take things away?
It's so weird.
Yeah, Netflix took off Shrek.
Yeah.
All the Shreks except for I think one of them, and I'm like, are you
That's-
kidding me? That was my go-to. Like if I'm having a nap, put on Shrek.
I think
It is
weird. Shrek has moved to Crave.
Oh really? I
Yeah.
just deleted that.
I don't know how it works. It's weird.
Me neither.
So can you talk us a little bit through your journey? So you leave the hallowed halls of Delview Academia,
Yes.
and you begin working at the Disney store.
Yes.
But working at the Disney store is not a guarantee of having a career as an animator, which is now what you are doing. So how did you get from working at the Disney store to working at Icon Entertainment?
Okay. So after high school, yes, got hired at the Disney store, and I was still deciding if I wanted to get into 2D animation or 3D animation. Because 2D, so it's just classical drawing, kind of like what Disney used to do, like really old, like all the, like Cinderella, Snow White, Beauty and the Beast, all that fun drawing stuff. And I'm just like, I could do it, but I'm just like, I want to work in movies, like more Disney movies. So I want to sit in a theater and watch something that I created. So I'm just like, that's probably mostly 3D because a lot of 2D drawn stuff is more TV shows that you see on TV. So like Parks and Rec, and no, it's Parks and Rec.
Yeah, I think they do
that-
have an animated Parks and Rec.
Do they? Okay. I was going to say like Simpsons,
Yep. Bob's Burgers.
Bob's Burgers. Yeah, it's all 2D drawn, or it's probably like 2D and 3D kind of vibe, but Phineas and Ferb, all that fun stuff that I used to
Phineas
watch.
and Ferb.
I love Phineas and Ferb.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, do I want to stay in TV for the rest of my life, or do I want to go and learn something new and do 3D and learn all the online stuff? And I'm not a computer person at all. Like I know nothing. Even now, still know nothing. So I was looking into that. I was looking at different studios because I had Vancouver Film School in my brain. Like we had a talk. Someone came in and talked about it in Mr. Choy's class in animation in grade 12. So I'm like, okay, so that was always in the back of my mind, but I checked out other studios, but it just wasn't it. And it was always coming back to Vancouver Film School. And Vancouver Film School had a year-intensive 3D animation and visual effects program. And so at the end, you get like a diploma, so a piece of paper. But it's very more industry based. And I feel like all these other studios were just like teaching you stuff. But the Vancouver Film School, of course, you're paying for the name. Of course, you're paying for that on your on your resume when you go get a job after, which is great, but hella expensive. So I really had to think about it. So I didn't defer. Sorry, after I worked at the Disney store for 2 years before I made a decision. So I did not, I was just working for 2 years, just vibing, and then decided to go to Vancouver Film School in 2020. And so I started in their summer program. So I was in their campus down in Gastown. So I had to make like a whole demo reel, had to draw some stuff and then apply and then do all that fun stuff about getting into college, all the same stuff, just you have to show like your art ability. I got in and went to class for 2 weeks, and then COVID happened.
No.
Yeah, so I had to literally stuff that is meant to be taught in person had to be all transferred and taught online. So I had like my whole setup at home in my living room for a whole year. It was tough as hell, but I feel like if I didn't want to do what I was doing and really wanted to do animation, I probably would have failed. Like it was tough, like because all the teachers were still trying to figure it out.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you're not getting the full like intimacy of the teachers in person for you, and then not getting that connection with understanding learning. Because I'm a hands-on learner. I like stuff in front of me. I like textbooks. I like everything, and it was really tough online. So, but I passed. I went to Vancouver Film School. Graduated online. Everything was online. My graduation was online. So that took us through.
So you didn't even get to experience that campus.
Only for 2 weeks.
Because that's a cool campus in Gastown.
It was very cool.
Because it originally was constructed and opened as Storium, that underground
to Storium.
museum.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a whole underground world under Vancouver.
Yeah,
Film School.
yeah.
So I didn't even get to go into the like the green screen room.
Yeah.
We were supposed to learn how to do that in visual effects, and we weren't able to do that.
That's too
So
bad.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember Storium. That was cool.
It was cool.
But it wasn't making enough money.
No, well, because it didn't attract repeat visitation. It was one of those things where like you kind of went and did it once and thought, wow, that was really cool. Yeah. I'm glad I did that. And then you didn't go back.
Do you know what Storium is?
No.
It was this like a historical Disney.
It was all
It was like a,
it was.
except it was like live. Like they had actors.
It was like a play.
Yeah, it was like a play.
And you went on this journey through this play in different underground locations.
Right. They didn't really have rides, but they had some sort of elevator.
Well, yeah, because it was all underground. So you would pay your admission, you get into this big elevator, kind of a la Haunted Mansion. You would descend underground in this big elevator, and the door would open, and you'd be on the first set. And it was like a indigenous landscape of old British Columbia, and there would be like seating, but it would all be like themed seating, so it wasn't like bleachers or anything. And you would sit down, and they would start telling the story.
They had like circle vision, so the
projection mapping and stuff
all around you. It was really cool, actually.
And it was a musical. Not all the songs were that catchy.
Probably not. If it's about history.
Yeah, but you know, it kind of went through the history of British Columbia. So you'd move through this underground environment, and all of a sudden, like the next room, it was more developed. There was a town, and you were seeing these buildings, and then there was a railroad, and it was really like you could tell that a lot of money went into it, but it wasn't like, again, because it was like a play. Unless you really liked the play, you wouldn't go back. It wasn't like a museum where you can just explore at your own pace and see the exhibits and read it was like you're going through this play. And I love, don't get me wrong, I love theater. This is totally my thing. But I went and saw it once, and I thought, that was really cool. But I don't need to go back, because it was also expensive. Yeah. I don't remember how much it cost.
I don't remember.
Probably a bit, yeah.
But
I took my cousin who was visiting from Hong Kong. Took him through that once.
Yeah, once.
How long ago was this?
I want to say that this was 2005, 2006.
Oh, okay.
Somewhere in that realm.
Yeah,
and then it closed, and it sat there vacant for a long time. And then I heard that Vancouver Film School was buying the building. And it was going to work out great because all the sets were left down there. And VFS wanted to utilize that space and say, well, if the sets are down there and they're already built, that can be like a sound studio or a sound stage.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's cool down there.
Yeah.
A whole like forest vibe.
Yeah, there's
big rocks.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's really cool. Yeah. It's like a whole different world down there.
Totally. But you only got it for 2 weeks.
I went down there once for like the viewing. Like when we first got there, they just showed us around like on our first day. Never went down there ever again in my life.
Well,
that is so sad because
as an alumni, can't you just walk in and say, hey?
I don't know.
I need to.
All my favorite teachers are gone anyway. So.
Oh no.
So no, I ain't going back.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll go back as an instructor.
Maybe. I do have some of my classmates are like they're either at so now it's called Beyond Cap. So there's a Beyond Capture. It's called Beyond Capture down there. So they actually do work on like different like video games, like motion capture.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
So that's what Beyond Capture does downstairs. So that's still there. So a lot of my classmates got hired at Beyond Capture, so they just kept going back to Vancouver Film School, but they just worked downstairs.
Cool.
So yeah, that was cool.
So how does the workflow work for you? Like when somebody comes up with an episode, like how does the creative process work, and how does it get handed to you?
Yeah, that's a process. So at Icon, I'm in like different. So there's different teams, and in animation. So I think there's about like 6 teams of about 8. So then you have like your levels of animators. You got junior, mid, senior. And there could be like two seniors, 2 juniors, 2, like there could be a number of different ones, but at least there's one of each. And then there's a lead, and then there's a director. And so the lead and the juniors animate mostly everything. And then the director's kind of in charge of looking at the shots and giving you feedback back and making sure everything's together for that episode. He is the main boss, and then everybody above him, so like production people and everything. But we don't deal with them personally as an animator. But yeah, so we're in different teams, and then from our client, they give us we have our episode. So we get our episode name, we get a little layout of what's going to be happening. are set, like what's going to be for assets and everything, characters, all that fun stuff that's going to be in this episode, and a little blurb of what this episode's about. Our team, well, because I work at home, so we would meet together in the studio, I guess, and watch the episode together, but we can't, so we do it online, watch the episode, any questions, so on, so forth, and then our director hands us, well, not hands us because we're online, but gives us, breaks up the shots. So in about an episode, there's probably like 200-ish shots. And so that gets breaking up between all like 8 of us. And so like the easier shots, less characters, less dialogue, less complicated, go to the juniors, and so on, it goes up. So the more like the singing shots and everything would go to mostly seniors. And then I'm a mid-animator now, so I get kind of in between. So a little bit of song, but mostly a lot of dialogue, most likely. So, or longer shots, so a couple frame lengths. So, because 12 frames is a second of TV time. So if you have like 200 and something frames, that's maybe like 20 not even 20 seconds. I don't know math, but
12 frames per second.
12 frames per second. Yeah. So that's how we calculate everything. Oh no, is it 12? It was 24. No, it's 12. 12 frames.
Because 24 frames per second is...
That's, I think...
like video.
Yeah, that's video. So that's how we look at it at 24 frames per second, but counting the frames, I think, for the thing is 12. Every 12 frames is 1 second.
Wow.
I think. If I'm wrong,
no, because it could be different.
Yeah.
I can understand how that would be different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you can vary it for a different look too, right?
Yeah. But, where was I?
Because it's like when they did, I think it was Lord of the Rings.
The Hobbit, yeah, they did.
Or The Hobbit, yeah.
They
did like 60 frames per second.
No, it was double. Wasn't it 48?
48?
Yeah, I think it was 48 frames per second.
I thought it was more. But like people were saying, oh, it looks super smooth, but also unnatural.
Yes.
Because people just aren't used to that, that frame speed.
Yeah, with the eyes.
Yeah, frame rate.
Yeah.
Can I ask, so you talked about, do I want to do 2D, do I want to do 3D? And you talked about not knowing a lot about computers.
Yeah.
What was your journey to 3D?
Oh, gosh. My journey to 3D. So I think the only thing that I actually did that kind of got me into 3D was here in Mr. Choy's animation class. He showed us like the ball animation that I remember doing in the program Maya. So we use Maya in the industry. So that was really nice to learn before going into college also. I knew a bit of it, but Maya is a very interesting program. Yeah, we're not a fan of her, but that's okay. So yeah, I did a bouncing ball animation, literally so bad. I've done many, many since, but that was the first time introduced to Maya was in grade 12. And then college, that's what we used for animation was Maya. So we literally had to go through like the kind of like the tools we would need to animate because there's like certain things in Maya that it's like modeling, texturing, and then there's also just an animation style look to Maya. So literally it's just mostly all the programs and then just learning how to use them because there's not that many. Like it's not like super hard to learn. And then especially if you keep doing it, it's just that continue.
Oh, totally.
So like me explaining to my mom, she has no idea. But like me doing it, I can just explain everything that I do in a day in my animation. Like, oh, I do this, move this with this and this. And she's just like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But I think it's just like learning a new program. So if you're learning, I don't even know a program to suggest.
Well, when you get handed down a project, is it what form is it in? Is it storyboarded out already and you're just trying to animate those scenes?
Yeah, so the client, after all the shots are given to us, the storyboard is all drawn out. So there is a storyboard artist where their client is, and they draw it out in 2D, camera angles, camera movements, and the characters where they are in the 2D set best that we could tell. And then so we have to move everything from 2D into 3D. So when we open up our Maya and we open up our shot, the storyboard thing for that shot for the frames will be there with our Maya when we open it, and then we just have to match the camera angle and then match them where they are in the scene. Same with all the assets. If they're holding like a cup, if they're holding like a baguette, I don't know. If the different characters, if they have different outfits on, and then we have to make sure they're in that 3D world, in that set with said assets that are attached, and then we go through the shot, and then we have to pose them for like the main poses, because the storyboard only has like your like, what are they called? They're not called main poses. They're called like story poses or like something like that. So that tells you what's happening in that moment. And then it just goes like one by one. So maybe in like a whole shot, there's probably like 5 poses for, let's say, Alice. But when I go into animation, so once layout's done, gets approved by client, we get it back. And then now we have to go into animation. So everything we just set up that got approved, it's all like blocked and it's all really, really choppy. So now we have to go back in and actually move the characters and do the lip sync for the audio that's also added into that. So
I assume for Alice and characters that have already been there, you're just taking from assets and reanimating or posing them, right?
Yeah.
And then I guess more work is done for original characters, new characters that come in.
Yeah. So we have, because we just do, because there's a whole other section job that does modeling. So they model all the new characters or the new assets, or if there's something wrong, or if we're missing, like Alice really needs like a whisk. She normally always has a whisk. So if she needs like a different whisk that's like bigger or smaller, and we don't have it, then modeling, we have to let modeling know they have to make it. And then it has to go to rigging. They have to rig it up. So then we can, then it goes to animation that we can actually use it in our animation.
I like that you keep referring to the client. It has to go back to the client. In this case, the client is Disney.
I want to say yes. They just always refer to it as a client. So honestly, I have no idea. It could just be a random person. I think it just might be a representative of Disney. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But yeah, the show is Disney.
It's a Disney show. Yeah,
it's a Disney show, so it has to be Disney. So Disney client, a Disney person, a Disney storyboard artist.
Right.
I'm curious to know, and I might be jumping a few steps here.
That's okay.
Do you animate first, or do the actors record the voices first?
So that we have all the voice audio first.
Okay.
Yes. It's like, I always thought in shows it was always the animation first. Like I've always seen like behind the scenes for Disney, and it was always you see them talking and while they're already acting.
While they're watching and they're
they're matching it up to the animation. So I was always like confused.
But I think maybe you get the voices and then you animate it, and then they see the animation while they're recording it.
I feel like that would be for probably like a
do you get the
picture.
final voices, or maybe it's just preliminary?
Things can get changed. So audio can get cut sometimes, and then it would just cut our shot that we already animated, but I don't think that's ever happened. Or it just like gets cut at the end.
So as an actor, what do you think would be easier?
Well, as an actor, I've heard that there are multiple ways of doing it, right? And it depends on the director, it depends on the company, it depends on the project. For me personally, having never done it before, but always having the dream, I would like to see the animation while I'm talking. But I think, and I could be wrong here, but I think it's more cost effective to bring an actor into a room with multiple scripts, do like a 4-hour call, and possibly record all the dialogue for like 5 or 6 different episodes. And then that actor's gone. Then everything goes over to animation, and animation takes as much time as it needs to get things ready. And then if something has to change, you bring the actor back in for ADR, additional dialogue recording. That would be if a lip assignment isn't correct, or if something has happened and we've needed to shift the story or change a line. So then you'd bring the actor back in for ADR for a few things while they're also working on the next set of scripts that they'd be laying down tracks for. And that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
It could be different, and I think it is. And for all the expert listeners out there, don't quote me on this. I think it's different for motion picture.
Yeah, I would say it's different for motion picture, because I feel like the animator, like even now, like you've seen like a lot of, if anybody follows animators on Instagram, they post like like side by side, like them acting the shot out and then that. I don't really do that. I kind of just normally do it in my head unless I really, I get my mom to come and be like, oh, mom, like from this pose to this pose, do something very like cartoony because the show's so cartoony.
Cool.
So I'm like, how does this move? How do you hold a pencil? Like sometimes like in your brain, you have no idea,
Right.
but you really have to see it. But I feel like motion picture, that would be real. Like they do that a lot, obviously, but I think maybe that's how they do the animation and the talking, and then that's when they would bring in the voice actors, and then they would go back into animation and then touch it up even more. Like, this actor did this because, like, I remember in Frozen, the actress that voiced Anna, she did something, and so like in the video that when she was doing the voice recording and doing the doing the voice recording, I guess that's the word. And the animators really liked what she did, so they put it in the movie. So I just feel like, but that obviously happened after, but she was looking at the animation.
Well, I heard, and again, this was probably a bonus feature on a DVD that I watched, that when they were animating the original Aladdin, they did not do a lot of Genie until after they had Robin Williams voice capture.
I saw that too.
And it was one of those things where you never know what Robin Williams is going to do. So
because he's got such a unique voice and way of expressing himself,
and he also did a lot of impersonations. Right. So all of a sudden, the animators are like, "Oh, Robin Williams just did an Ed Sullivan impression. So now we have to figure out how to draw the genie as Ed Sullivan. Yeah. Oh no, now Robin Williams has done a Rodney Dangerfield. So now we need to do Genie as Rodney Dangerfield, and it became that you could not have prepped that.
Yeah, no. I think a lot of that Genie was not at all done prior
by the script.
By the script, not at all. But yeah, that's kind of it.
There's a really good, I think you've probably seen it on Disney Plus. They did a whole documentary about the making of Frozen 2.
Oh, it's excellent.
Right? You've seen that?
Yes.
Yeah. So they go through it's awesome. You should see it.
You should see it. Yeah.
It's on the list.
Because they go through the whole process and composing the music and having the voice actors in and doing the animation. They talk a lot about the assets. And
it was pre-COVID.
Yeah.
But Bobby Lopez and I'm totally blanking on his wife's
Kristen.
Anyways, they were in New York while the animators were in California. So pre-COVID, they were using Skype or Zoom to have their meetings while they were composing songs and writing things. A lot of the animators, I think Kristen Bell was in California, but Jonathan Groff was playing King George in Hamilton. So they did all of his audio recording in New York, and he wasn't in studio in California with them. So all like Lost in the Woods, there's a great shot in that documentary where you see Jonathan Groff doing all the harmonies for Lost in the Woods, but he's doing it at a studio in New York while everybody else is in Los Angeles getting this through Skype. It was...
That's crazy.
We take it for granted now because we've lived in this COVID world where everything's on Zoom, but at the time, like that must have been incredible to be coast to coast working on this movie.
Yeah, it's been really cool. That's which is great. Like I love working from home, and I just miss that interaction
for sure.
Like most of 90% of the time, but yeah, we try to meet up. We meet up with my teams and everything, but it's different.
How do you access all that data from home? You must have amazing internet.
Because I do have like high speed. I pay for the internet, so it's like I don't know.
But those files can't be small.
So they're
must be huge.
Because with we use it in college also. That's how we accessed our kind of work studio or our our school computer from home. It's called Teradici.
Never heard of it.
Yeah. So we used something similar to it. Well, we used it for a bit and then we swapped over to something else. I have no idea what it's called. But it's literally, so Teradici is just kind of like a system that hooks you up to your school work computer at the studio at the college where you are. So you can access everything related. So it's like a total...
So you're like remoting in...
Literally,
accessing.
yeah. So I'm literally like not even screen sharing. It's literally I am in that computer through this program, and when I exit it, I log out of my work computer, and it's like a regular computer. So yeah, so everything is literally saved on whatever the studio has over there. It has like nothing to do with our system, but Wi-Fi does affect, of course. So
Now, is there a plan to go back to in-person working, or are you going to be remote working for the foreseeable future?
So we can, if we, like a lot of the new people getting hired, like I have I think I have 1 or 2 team members that do work in studio, but they're with like wherever, but most of the team obviously is at home. But my team has been there for probably like 4+ years, a lot of them in my team. So they're happy to be home. They have families at home. It's just easier for them, cheaper for them. And I live pretty far. I live in Delta, and then that's in Gastown. So it's a real truck, expensive, all that fun stuff. But if I wanted to, I can work in studio 100%. I just can't do 50-50. So I think that's just to keep things easier for the studio, of course, and then easier for me to have like stuff available for somebody. But
it's great that they're still letting you do that because
oh, yeah,
a lot
100%.
of companies had said, everybody back.
Everybody back. Everybody stay home. So.
Thanks, Elon Musk.
Yeah. So a lot of people that already had computers after COVID or like once we were able to go back in studio, they were good to go. And then like, it was just like a slow process to get us to where we are now that if we wanted to go, we just got to talk to HR, see how that goes. But yeah, if I wanted to, I could.
So I just want to ask you in general, what do you love about your job? And what are some things that you don't like about your job? Because we all have careers here and there are things we like, some things we don't like.
Yeah.
What about for you?
What I love about my job, oh geez. I haven't really, my mom always asks me, she's like, oh, do you still love your job? I'm like, oh yeah. Like obviously, yes, it's a job. There's going to be stuff. I complain about stuff all the time. But I'm like, at the end of the day, I love my job.
Yeah.
And I love the team I have. Like, they're amazing. So honestly, I love my team. That's what I love about my job is the people I work with. And then being able to learn, like every day I'm learning something different. Like I'm not a computer person. So when I need help on I can do pretty tech savvy with like the programs I use. But after that, I'm just awful. So I love being tech savvy. And I like knowing what I know. Like, it feels good. Like, to me, I think a lot of people know what I do. But then when I talk to people, they have, like, no idea. So I love to explain it somehow. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it properly. But honestly, I just really love, like, animating a character. Like, I love acting animation. So there's acting and then, like, more technical action animation. I love acting animation. So that's, like, the facial lip sync, moving very bubbly thing, not walking or anything, walking and dancing, can't do that. Very bad at that, but I love acting animation like more than anything. And yeah, I just love like when you hear the audio and then bringing that into a character that has no movement at all, and it's like putting those two together. So that's what I really love is acting animation and being able to
bring them to life.
Exactly, bring a character to life and how that mood is happening and how they're talking. Because Fergie, like Alice is very bubbly and happy all the time, but then like Fergie the rabbit is very, very anxious. So he's always like tapping his foot, he's touching his ears, his nose is wiggling, like having all those little details for each character. So, because each character, totally different personality. So it's nice to have that balance. And like Rosa, she's very more like fairy-like, and instead of like Hattie is more like doing flips and talking nonstop, and he's very goofy in that way. So yeah, I know it's very nice. It's very cool and nice, and I enjoy getting different personality. Like it was hard to start trying to figure out each personality for each character, but once you get into it, it's like you're like, oh, you know that. So.
I love the way you talk about it.
Yeah.
I love it. So okay, hopefully that made sense.
Where does your knowledge base, like what is your knowledge base for like that kind of acting? Like knowing that each character has its own personality and then they have certain tics or certain ways that they move or they scratch themselves or like you were saying, right? Where'd you get that from?
So we have like kind of like a show Bible that we get when we start on the show. So it just tells you a bit about each character and what they do, what they normally do. So, because obviously Fergie, he's the rabbit, so he's always has a pocket watch. He's always like cautious about his time. So anytime there's like a pocket watch where he's nervous, he's always like looking at the watch, like, oh my gosh, like what is happening? Like we're gonna be late. So, and everybody's like, chill out, buddy. So, But yeah, we do have like a show Bible. I'm assuming they have it for every show, but I've been on the show for 2 seasons now. So
Yeah.
I mean more like do you seem to be very observant and you do like study people like who are a little bit different around
What
like how you
he's trying to get you to admit that you never took my drama class and that you should feel bad about it.
Literally, I'm like, I was not.
But she got her
acting at all,
education in
but-
drama anyway.
Exactly. Honestly, I think it's from watching animated movies 100%. Like I grew up watching animated movies, obviously Disney, Pixar.
You're a fan.
I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
So like I remember in one of the shots in season 2 that we're working on. You haven't seen it yet, but so I can't really tell you much about it, but I could
NDA.
NDA Disney's gonna come get me. So if I
They
disappear
have
after
people
this
with
podcast,
sunglasses outside right now.
yeah, we
Waiting.
got coffees too. But I didn't. I saw this. So I posed it, but when getting into animation, I'm looking at it was one of the characters, and I'm looking at him, and I hear the audio, and he's really excited, and he's kind of like how he's posed. He's kind of like moving, like wailing his hands, and I'm just like we can take references from a lot of places. Like I got a reference from like even like Ariel, like an anime. They wanted like the client wanted it to look exactly like pretty close to this. I nailed it. I got a nice shout out for that. So that was great. And they loved it. And I'm like, okay, cool. But yeah, normally for references, we can either film ourselves. We can look. Like I normally look at GIFs online if I'm looking for like a chew or if I'm looking for like a giggle and I need to see how it moves, or YouTube even. But I actually referenced Shrek 2, I think it was. I remember this because I love Shrek. I've watched it millions of times, and there was this one part, and as soon as I saw this animation and heard the audio, I'm like, I'm gonna do this. So then I pulled up the part of the movie, and I just referenced it, and it worked. That shot got approved right away, and so I'm just like, so sometimes I do have ideas, like when I look at it and hear the audio, like I play it back. And I'm just like, okay, I know what I want to do here. Sometimes I have no clue. So that's what I miss in person. Like we could bounce ideas off each other if we were in person with other animators, but unfortunately I can't sometimes. So
So you record a lot of reference video to get it? No, you don't.
I don't. No.
Yeah.
Not at all. I think I tried once, but it's just a whole process to record it, upload it to like the system, and then put it kind of with your shot, or you can just look at your phone. So yeah, I normally just look on YouTube or GIFs, honestly, if it's something short. But
because I saw some that they released some for Across the Spider-Verse, and it was just so fun to watch because
so
the
cool.
animators are just messing around and slipping and falling and stuff like that in the reference videos, and that's what a lot of them based it on. I thought that was such an interesting process.
Yeah, when you see a lot of the Disney behind the scenes stuff, a lot of animators have a mirror.
Yeah.
And they'll make faces at themselves in the mirror and then animate. And it's neat when you, because I guess these animators, they see a little bit of themselves in these characters.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Yeah, so like.
It's almost like they're playing that character. Yeah.
So you mentioned
Exactly.
you mentioned Shrek as an influence on you. You mentioned Tiana.
Yeah.
and
Frog always.
Princess and the Frog. What are some other influences that kind of have affected your style or the way you think about animation?
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Do you have heroes? Like who do you look up to?
I don't honestly don't really have any like I have like Disney artists that I look up to, but they all either design merchandise. They're not really animators. Like it's weird like when people ask me like, "Oh yeah, who's your favorite animator?" I'm like, "Honestly, I have no idea." Like I know a lot of animators probably have like, "Oh, I want to be like this animator one day. I love their style." I'm like, I really don't have that, unfortunately. Like I've seen a lot of so like I don't know if you heard of Gravity Falls. So what was the guy's name that made it? He did the voice acting and he drew all the stuff for
I didn't
Gravity
know that.
Falls. I met him.
Ooh.
I met him at D23 and it was literally amazing.
You went
You were
to
at
D23?
I went to D23 twice.
Oh,
After graduating here, me and Mom went. So that's when I met him. So the creator of Gravity Falls.
You lucky.
I want to go to D23.
it was, the first time was better than my
Let's go,
second
Turpin.
time. But
Well, the second time was Bob Chapek.
was it? It was like in I don't even know when I went last. It was like 2017.
No, that might have been Iger still.
I think Iger, that was my first time. And then I went like 2 years later, I think. So like 2019-ish. But
So you met the creator of Gravity Falls at D23.
at D23, yes. So that's amazing. I also met, I don't know if you know Steve Thompson. He designs a lot of the limited edition dolls at the Disney store.
Oh, cool.
The ornaments.
Yep.
Yeah, met him. He also used to be a Disney cast member, like in the Disney store years ago. So I met him. So I have a lot of Disney artists.
Alex Hirsch? I think.
Alex Hirsch, yes, I met him. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
He was
I just
amazing.
looked it up.
I'm just like, what is it? It was like something. So yeah, he signed my whole like Journal 3. Yeah, it was a whole thing. I was very happy to see him.
Oh, that's so cool.
But yeah, so I have a lot of, and then like the guys that created Phineas and Ferb, like the two guys, yes, they had
Dan and Swampy?
Yes, I didn't meet them, but I went to both their panels. And the guy that voiced Phineas was there also in the second time I went. So I have a lot of Disney artists I look up to, but mostly they are 2D. I don't have a lot of 3D people, unfortunately. But and like Mark Henn, I met Mark Henn. Who did he animate? I don't know if he animated Ariel, Jasmine, and maybe Lion King. Yeah, he did all like the classic for that too. But all these animators are super like antisocial, so they're like standing there like, it's like, yeah.
What is it?
We are.
It's interesting. Like there's a great documentary that used to be on Netflix and talking about things that get pulled. I bought it on DVD and it's called I Know That Voice, and it's about the voice animation voice industry, and there are some things that the actors say that they like about animation is the anonymity. One of the ladies was talking about it. You know, I have a friend, because we're all in the industry together. I have a friend that's a movie star, and I said, hey, we should take our kids to Disneyland. And she's like, I can't do that. And it's like, yeah, you're right. People would recognize you and you get swamped. But when you're in animation, you get to maintain that anonymity. And I can imagine that and I'm not trying to call all people in animation introverts.
They definitely are.
But you like you can be in the entertainment industry and work at a very, very high level and still maintain your personal privacy.
Yeah,
because
100%.
You don't get seen.
Yeah, not at all. Unless you want to be seen, unless you want your stuff out there. And like, if I did not show anybody anything, they would have no idea. Like, what I do at all. But
I mean, there are some like Swampy and Jeff, like those guys. You recognize those guys.
Oh yeah, if you saw them, you know them.
And I think Matt Groening, who created Futurama and The Simpsons, I think he's a big enough guy now that you could recognize him. Seth MacFarlane created Family Guy. You'd recognize him. But you know, the people that created the characters in Frozen,
no clue.
No clue. And as you've been saying, to be an animator, you have to be an actor.
Yeah.
It's an acting job. And everybody around the world is seeing your acting work and they don't know you.
Not at all.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Especially it's crazy because especially in a TV show, everything got to look consistent to a point, but you're still animating like how you animate.
Yes.
But it has to be animated how the client wants this character to look.
Yes.
So if you got Hattie looking very, very sad all the time, that's not his personality. So you're going to get like, hey, like, what's up? That's not who he is. You're going to have to fix that, right? So, or if you're animated in a different kind of style that doesn't, like if you're animating very realistic, you're going to get told like you need to go more cartoony and bigger movements and bigger this, bigger that, like anything bigger is better. So, especially in cartoony world.
Oh, totally.
So, yeah.
I have two questions and I'm not sure if these are appropriate questions.
We'll see.
But we can always cut.
I don't cut.
It's all raw footage.
So you are employed by Icon Entertainment. What if Disney canceled your show? What would be your job, or would you still have a job?
I feel like that would be if Icon is able to
like pick up
find a different project.
Find a different project that's either ongoing or is about to start, but we have no idea what those are. We know ongoing ones, but unless they're released, can't tell you guys. Sorry. So either we would be transferred to a new project. Transferred to a new project, or
Okay.
Fired.
Laid off.
Laid
downsized.
off.
Thanks
Next
for
question.
bringing it down, Turpin.
No. So let's flip it.
yeah.
Not to down talk Icon Entertainment, but
of course.
do you have aspirations of going south and actually not working for a subcontractor, but instead of working for the client, being the client?
Being the client to do that. I have looked, because obviously like Disney is I really want to work for Pixar. I love Disney, but I've worked with them, so I know their company employment style, which is questionable, but that's okay. But I really want to work for Pixar. So Pixar is my end goal in my life. But Disney did open a studio out in Vancouver. So they have had 3D animation openings. I have applied. I did hear back that I didn't get in the first time, but then they had another. So I keep my eye open for that. But I think that's the only thing I'm looking for to try to get there is the one out here at the moment, because they're actually doing TV shows right now, I believe, at the Disney one that I've heard around social media. But so trying to get in there, but of course that it's going to be a bit harder to get into. But after a couple years, which I'm fine with staying at Icon, if they're still doing Disney stuff. Like we got some cool projects happening. So, no, Icon was like a really, really good start for me, and I'm really happy I got onto this. But, yeah, end goal.
Work for the mouse.
Work for the mouse.
Have you ever I know you don't have any side time because you're so busy.
Barely.
But
So sad.
like, have you ever tried like making your own animation or like come up with your own story? You probably did as a project in school. But.
Yeah, I did in college, which was literally, they even said, like, that's probably your only time in your career that you're going to be able to do something you want to do, because you're going to have to follow everybody else's, like, view on what this show is going to be. So you can't really have that much freedom. No, not since college. I have not. I have barely even like drawn. I miss drawing and painting. I don't know. Like when I'm working, it's tiring. Like I work 8 hours a day, Monday to Friday. But yeah, it's mentally draining. Like it's not fit. Like when I tell people, they're just like, "Oh, your job's easy. Your job's easy." It's like, honestly, like physically, yes. Mentally, no.
Well, even physically, if you're sitting there all day,
yeah,
I can't.
No.
I can't
They
sit
want
there
us to
all day.
walk around and stuff,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I try. Walk
You have
around,
to.
go into the living room, grab a snack, come sit down. But
So that's actually an interesting question. You say that you work 8 hours a day, Monday to Friday. Is there opportunities for overtime?
yes.
Yeah.
So thankfully, like we even got told in college, like even when you're starting out, like people, I'm not saying Icon does, because Icon has been very, very nice, but in studios around that you are applying to, they will lowball you for your work, obviously, or they will take advantage of you. It's just what the industry is. Like we know that, but there's not like a set pay, not a set, like how stuff that should be like for like a regular office job, how you have like, oh, this is how much you're going to be doing. This is the work you're going to be doing. Like that's very different in the industry. It's going to be very random depending on the studio you go to. And so yes, to that question, yes, we do have option for overtime, and which is really nice. So we do get.
Well, in a job like yours, it's like it's project based, and you have a deadline. So I'm sure when it gets closer to the deadline, you're working extra hours to get it finished, right?
Yeah, no, 100%.
I have a buddy that's a software programmer.
Oh gosh,
And I don't want to out him or his company or anything, but there would be a lot of times where he'd be on deadline, and just because the typical 9 to 5 workday is over, no, the work is not done until the work is done, until the client is satisfied.
Yep.
So
No, that's 100%.
yeah, like, there's overtime for the sake of, I'm going to work overtime and get paid more, but it's not about that. It's about, we have a deadline and we have to get this done. Yeah.
Because I had a friend of mine, she was doing, I won't say where she was working, but she was working somewhere and in the same industry. And they weren't paying for her overtime or somehow comping her for her overtime. So it's like not a lot. We don't get paid. We might not get paid for it, or it might go towards like vacation. It might go like an extra pay on our check, something like that. And she was not getting paid for her overtime, even though she barely worked any. And I'm like, girlfriend, you can't be doing that. Like that they're taking advantage. I don't care where you're working. That's not okay because we went to the same college, they always told us, every single teacher is like, they will try to work you and try to get you for free as much, whatever studio you're working at. Like if they can get your labor for free, they will because they have a deadline and they need it done. But will they pay you for your time? That's not always the case. So it's just trying to find a good company. So that's why I'm very happy at Icon. I'm very good. Like, yeah, they treat us pretty damn well. So compared to some of the stories I have heard at other studios. So, but yeah, it's just like they tell us in school, but like it's your first job. If you're just starting, you're going to try to do everything you can to get into a job, get paid. And then so if you're working crazy hours and not getting paid for it, like that's up to you if you want to put in those hours and not get paid for your career, but sometimes it's not worth it. So I'm lucky I didn't have to do that. But yes, I do work. Like I'm doing overtime like this week and next week to get our deadline done. So like that's like sometimes we do get help, which is really nice. Like when a lot of teams are in layover, they're waiting for a new episode. We help other teams in my studio, which is really nice because then we get to work with other people. We get to work with other directors on a different episode. So you're touching more of the shots. Like shots get touched by everybody, not just you, which is amazing. The whole collaboration with that. Like I even told them like I love helping other teams. It's great. But yeah, the deadline will be, it's your deadline. So if you don't get your shots done, it's going to be passed on to somebody like the help, but like the help that you're getting from other animators. But you don't want that. You want all your shots as yours. Course. So like you try your best to get them done. And especially like it's very, they want you like fast and efficient. So good animation, but you got to be fast. But if you're going fast, but your animation is not that good, then slow down. And like, yeah, it's kind of like that balance, but.
Has the writer's strike affected you at all?
That I have not heard anything about because I'm still so we're working on season 2. It has been out that season 2 is going to be happening.
Well, and it's probably already been written.
So, we're almost done it.
Yeah, the writing work is done, and now you're just animating. Yeah, exactly.
But like for anything after, if whatever we're going to be working on next, I have no idea. That's what my grandma thought too about the writer's strike, because especially if because Disney's in the U.S., of course.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's moved over here to Canada that much, or if it does affect us. But so far, I haven't really heard anything. So I hope not. But yeah, I don't know.
It's one of those things. Is the dark cloud hanging over the industry right now?
I think a lot of, and we talked about AI when I was talking to Han as well, because she was the last interview I did. Are you concerned at all about, because that's one of the things they're striking about, right? That AI could replace some of the things that writers traditionally would be asked to do, taking those jobs away from them, the creative process away from them. Because you could just generate a prompt and get, copy, or you could get potentially nowadays you could get images or video.
Yeah, I feel like it's something, because I know there was something happening with an artist strike, but I don't know if that didn't come out here that I've seen, but yeah, I feel like it will, like even my friend was wondering about the artist strike, like way back, I think it was at the beginning of the year or last year, it was a bit ago. And he was wondering, like, a lot of people even got laid off, or they all, we're doing the whole strike, but I feel like it'll 100% affect my, not my career, but like my job, because I don't write, however, but I need that to work, So like if a lot of, which is really sad for writers and everything, because like this is what they love to do, and they're not being able to do it, or they're not being paid enough to do it. So
it's the ripple effect.
Yeah, exactly. So like even like in the industry, however, it has to go down a pipeline. Well, so does everybody trying to make this show first and then take it to actual production view with the animators and the riggers and the modelers. But so I hope it doesn't affect too much, but it most likely would.
You're starting to see more AI things built into like the Adobe suite, because I've seen it. I forget, it's called Adobe Firefly, where you could type in a prompt and it'll generate a background for you to put behind your your photo,
Really?
and it will replace the background that you have and all that kind of stuff. Canva, which a lot of people around here use, which is really easy. Yeah. It has some built-in AI components where you can just type in, I want to see a dog riding a camel eating an ice cream, and then it'll like create that for you.
Wow.
So as it gets more and more advanced, which is like, I guess, the only way to go, potentially like some of these things could creep up into what you're doing, which is to me kind of scary, because you can make people say whatever you want in their voice, right?
Yeah. Like, it's frightening. And then, like, 'cause my brother's a tattoo artist, and so obviously he designs a lot of his tattoos. Or like even just regular artists, like, why pay an artist to paint a portrait of you when you can get it like fully intensified with AI? So like that's what I feel is really unfortunate, because a lot of these artists are how you hear struggling artists, but like now they're literally,
It's worse.
it's even worse now, and I feel so bad, because I'm just like, these people, this is like, they have a skill, and now it's just kind of getting pushed under the rug because, oh, I can do it now for free, or I can do it for now for like $50, not $1,500 for your hand-drawn, hand-painted piece of art that I'm going to hang on my wall. So yeah, I feel like that's going to be a really hard thing, like just in the art industry in general, from writing to painting, drawing, computer art. But I don't know if you guys seen Invasion yet. The Marvel Invasion?
Oh, no, not yet.
Okay, because the whole opening scene, there was so much. So there's this.
Yes.
There's so much controversy.
AI.
It is AI,
Yeah.
and it literally. Sorry, Marvel, but it does not look good. Like, I'm looking at, I'm like, what am I looking at? Because I'm just like, and then so there's this like Instagram.
I can't believe they did that.
I was shocked, especially like a big name company like that. Like, you couldn't pay 20 artists to make this for you, or even just one artist probably could have done better than that. And I was very disappointed. I'm like, I love Marvel, but I'm just like, what are you doing, bud?
Well, it's funny. I haven't seen it, but hearing you talk about it gives me faith that AI can't take over, that we need artists.
Like, I get what they were getting at, because I wouldn't even say it fit well with the show. Like, the show was great, but like the like, I don't know if it was the end credit part too, but it was mostly just the whole opening with all the people that, your normal opening number for Marvel stuff. But yeah, no, it did not go over well at all.
Wow.
At all. Yeah, just Google it. It's bad.
Gives me faith. Gives me faith that artists are not disposable.
Yeah.
But as well, technology improves.
Yeah.
So it's kind of scary.
Unless we stop it.
Well, that's the thing. That's what they're talking about, right? Like even as teachers, we're seeing a lot of kids just cheat on stuff.
Chat GPT, that essay?
It's hard to tell.
I'm like, what is these words?
It is so hard to tell when it's like,
I'm like,
did
we
you
have to
make
do
that?
like
Wait.
old school cheating. I'm not saying I cheated, but like we have to do like paper, paper, show.
I gave you in-class essays. You had to write by hand on a piece of paper.
Do you guys not do that anymore?
I haven't given. Well, I don't teach English as a standalone course anymore. But
is it all online?
we do so much on Google Classroom now, and we have so many more Chromebooks than when you were here, and so much of it is now typed. There's not a lot of handwritten anymore. And now that there's Chat GPT, I think you're actually going to see a lot of teachers go back next year for sure. While we're kind of in this moment where Chat GPT is so new. I've talked to a bunch of teachers that said, we're going to go back to handwriting next year because we need to ensure academic integrity. But it's an interesting moment.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I've witnessed it so many times, not from my own class, but I see kids coming in during after school or during flex time. I'm like, what are they doing? They're just literally just copying and pasting the assignment, getting the entire write-up, and then just pasting it back into a doc and sending it in. And that's it.
Yep.
What?
They haven't done any thinking or anything.
Yep. Yeah. It's a game changer.
Like, oh my gosh.
So, I mean,
wild.
Yeah, it is a different time for sure.
Yeah, very. That's upsetting.
I'm just wondering, I mean, I already asked you what your favorite animations are, but have there been any animations recently or in the past where you've looked at it and you went, That is so cool. I wonder how they did that. Like, I don't know if you follow any Japanese animation or different styles of animation, but have you like Across the Spider-Verse?
Yeah.
Like I saw that and I was
Me
like,
too.
whoa, that is
Kung's
amazing.
obsessed.
I'm absolutely well. Even
talk to
into
you
the
about it all
Spider,
day.
even the first Spider-Verse, I was like,
Yeah.
wow, this is different.
Yeah, I think so way back when I was doing college, that's when the first Spider-Verse came out. And I wanted to do a project just like that. I want to do half and half. I want to do 3D animation and 2D. And I'm like, what are you doing, Dave? This is what? Like, I had high hopes. I'm like, I could totally do this, and definitely did not even try. But I think that was the movie that I'm like, damn, like, I want to work on this. Like, this is phenomenal. This is gorgeous to look at. I want people to come and be like, wow, that's freaking cool. And so I'd say back in college, so like 2020 area, it was Spider-Verse. But recently, what have I seen? One that was amazing, I actually saw with my brother, and I think he enjoyed it, was Turning Red with Mei Ling Lee.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's on Disney Plus, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's from Toronto, I think.
Yeah, the whole Canadian, like, it was just,
Yeah, it's very Canadian.
very, very Canadian. I loved it. But it was very, to me, because yes, I do watch anime, but of course it's all drawn. But I love anime.
It's Domi Shi, right?
That
Domi Shi.
does,
Who did Turning Red?
It sounds familiar. I want to say
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. And she also did that Pixar, that short called Bao.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She did Val. I love
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
shorts. Shorts are my thing so much.
Yeah.
Like 6 minutes.
She did
of
that
just
one.
amazing.
That was her first big thing.
I loved Bao.
Yeah.
I literally bought the mug from the Disney store just from that
Yeah.
short. It's
Wow.
huge. But yeah, Turning Red was probably one of my favorite recently. I'll never forget it. I've watched it a few times. But how they kind of added in, it was very cartoony, of course, very 3D animated. I even told my brother, like, that's what I do for a living. Oh my gosh. But they had a lot of like anime inspired expressions, like how they have the big eyes and they have like the hard eyes and all that kind of like super girly animated and anime style within it. And it just really I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it properly, but I think
know what you
Turning
mean.
Red,
Yeah,
was amazing.
Yeah.
And of course, the new Spider-Verse, multiverse, that's the most recent. Amazing. I just can't. I just keep, like, it's just beautiful. I'm like, how do they do this? So, trying to think of what else I've seen.
Have you seen Demon Slayer?
Yeah, of course I have.
That animation is
Oh my gosh.
beautiful as well. Like
it's gorgeous.
like the action that's in there, all the different different types of breathing, and
Yes.
it's
Oh my
so
gosh.
cool.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a new season out, so I started.
There
I'm
is.
like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went on Crunchyroll, found that, but I started watching Jujutsu Kaisen. Is that how you pronounce it? Started watching that, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, that's pretty good. I just enjoy like fighting and kind of like more dark anime. So like I watched Death Note. That one was more like chill, kind of mysterious mystery thriller. Attack on Titan, like the earlier seasons were good.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
I've heard of that. I haven't seen it.
Honestly, it's weird as hell, but it looks so like, because each season is a different art style. And then when they're in fight scenes, when they're in fight scenes or if something dramatic's happening, it changes the color. So like it changes like literally the mood. It changes the mood, but with color. So like if the villain and one of the heroes, let's say in the anime, is fighting and pretend their colors are like normal, like, oh, he's wearing like a black and white outfit, and then the villain's he normally wore like yellow and stuff. Well, it would change. He would be like full purple type and then like green. Like it was like that contrast, but it worked together, but totally two different colors. Like I think that like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, like the storyline is kind of weird, but it's really cool once you get into it. Like the first season's really rough, but season 2 beyond, I think there's like 6. Watch them all, obsessed. But it's just each season's a different art style, a different wherever they are, like Paris and France. Like, I don't know where they are, but yeah, visually very pleasing.
One Punch Man.
I haven't. My brother has.
First season.
Okay.
Second season, it kind of went downhill.
Really?
The animation went downhill.
I keep looking at it. I'm like,
doesn't look good. But the first season, it's just so over the top because it's about a guy who apparently did a whole bunch of training and became the most powerful hero in the world. And he can like destroy the worst enemy with like one punch, right? But it's funny. It's so funny.
See, I love that. Yeah. My brother's obsessed with Dragon Ball Z. I have not started yet, but he literally, I'm like, okay. He's like, it's so good. And I'm like, okay, it's on the list. If I have like a few years to.
All of these different, the more stuff you watch, I guess it informs what you do.
I think so.
Yeah.
Or like sometimes if I have like of course, like kind of people have like writer's block or art block. I do get blocked sometimes, or I'm just like, I get in my brain. I'm like, wow, I suck at my job. Like I'm so slow today, or I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, and then I like watch some animated movie. I'm like, oh, I love this, and then I just like take a little brain break and then go back, and then you're like, you're fine. But like you have, I feel like in any like art related, in not industry, any art related profession, any art related profession, it's going to be very tough because you don't get praised a lot in our industry. So you kind of just like, if that shot's good, you're going to get a little check mark by your thing, and then you're good. Like, it makes you feel good. But if you get like a note, like many times I get like, obviously when I was starting out, I got a lot of notes and like, oh, this is wrong, try this. Like, not like you are wrong, but like, here's how you got to fix some things. Mm-hmm. It's just the feedback. And then a ride director is always like, this looks good, but, and then gives me the thing. And I'm like, I'll take it. Like that, that's the closest I'm getting to a wow day. This is amazing. You should keep going. You're great in your career. We don't get that. We don't get like, that's why it's really hard. You have to be kind of okay with not getting like, wow, that looks great from people that you look up to. Because, my mom's like, wow, Dave, this looks amazing. I'm like, thanks, Mom. And then I get the notes back and I tell her, and she's like, I thought it looked good. I'm like, okay, Mom, but this is wrong. She's like, I didn't even notice.
It's always good to have a mom there.
Literally. Yeah. No, she gets it. But if you ask her what I do, she could not tell you at all. She just knows I animate for Disney. That's about it.
How'd you get into Disney? You must have, like, I know you, like, have been to Disney parks quite a lot, right? Like it's like an annual thing for you, right?
Yeah, I've been to Disneyland 14 times.
Wow. So when you were growing up, I guess, yeah?
Yeah, so since, I think my first time I went, I was 2, but obviously I don't remember. So technically when I was 4, I would say, but that was our family trip every year. So me and my mom and my grandma would always go, and then we would cruise home. So we'd go down for 5 days and cruise home for 3 days, the repositioning cruise.
Repositioning cruise, yeah.
Yeah, so it's from Cali to Vancouver.
Oh, repositioning.
So,
yeah.
So all the cruise ships that do the winter west coast of Mexico that come up and do the Alaska run all summer, they reposition from California to Vancouver. So
might as well take some people.
Yeah.
Some people.
Yeah. Drop them off, pick some more up. So that was our literal since like kindergarten all the way up to grade, so in elementary school all the way to grade 7. We'd go every single year. So kind of at around May-ish was our normal time, beginning of May, because it wasn't too hot, wasn't too cold. That was most of the time. Hit high school, didn't go as much, but I tried. And then, of course, when I worked at the Disney store, it was cheaper to go because I got in for free. I didn't have to pay, and then we got discount on hotels and everything. So when I was working at the Disney store, I finally got to stay at like the Disneyland Hotel. I've stayed there twice. Not unfortunately at the Grand because I got let go before I could stay at the Grand, Californian, and Disneyland. But yeah, no, I went an awful lot. So I have to thank Mom for my Disney addiction. But yeah, no.
Have you been to other Disney parks?
I haven't.
Really? Not even Disney World?
No, because my whole thing.
Yeah.
So Walt Disney, Disneyland is the only park he ever was in, walked in. He died before World was done. So there's just so much more history in Disneyland, and it's smaller. Of course, it's smaller. There's 2 parks, you can do it both in a day.
That's totally true.
The candle in the fire hall window.
Yep, there's a candle, and he always every time Walt would go into the park and open up the park, he would turn on the light, turn on like this little I don't even know what candle light lamp above the fire hall in Disneyland on Main Street before you hit Main Street. And now after he passed, they do it all the time. Like you can stand there and watch it get turned on when the park opens. So it just has so much history. And then I've never done, there's like a walkthrough you can do, like the walk in Walt's footsteps. It's expensive, but you get to walk kind of where you get to go into his apartment above where the fire hall is, where the lamp is. You get to go in there and you get to walk like where he literally walks.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah, I just feel like there's so much more history behind Disneyland and in it than World.
I've been to Disney World and I really like it, but what my least favorite is Magic Kingdom.
Really?
Because it's the one that's trying to be Disneyland and it's not Disneyland.
See, I don't like that. Like, I would love to go to like Tokyo, like the Japan one. Like, I would love to go there, or Paris. But I feel like World's too big, and it's too much trying to incorporate everything into one place.
You have to hop on a tram to get to
from park to park. Yeah. Like Epcot is really cool, Animal Kingdom's really cool, Disney Studios is really cool. Like, they're all good parks. And Magic Kingdom, it's got its virtues, but it's trying to be Disneyland California. And it's just not. And when asked to describe it, I just say it's missing Walt. Yeah. That's what's missing.
Yeah, there's just something that's what a lot of people said about Bob Iger. Like, he was the closest you could get to Walt Disney, because he was not thinking money. He was thinking, like, how can I make this more magical for the guests? Like, how can I get the guests to do this?
Yeah.
But Bob Chapek, when he was there, when he was CEO for however the hell long he was,
too long, but also not
too
long.
Too long, but not long at all. And he was like in and out as fast as he could. But everybody was complaining because it was all about the money, going into the park, and they made like this. Oh my gosh!
Well, you look at how much you have to pay for the parks now, and the fact that you have to get the Genie Plus or whatever the heck, and
that was the major
and park hoppers aren't really park hoppers anymore. You get to go to the other park at a certain time after 1 or whatever. Yeah, exactly. It's totally different now. It's so restrictive now.
Yeah, the whole reservation thing was just garbage. Like, I don't know why they did not take that away as soon as they should have, because it really screwed up a lot of people. And like a lot of people came, like we heard, because I have a friend that works in Disneyland in California, or I was gonna say California Adventure, but it's like both parks. And he does like he's like a real estate person, so he sells like the Disney timeshares and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Vacation club stuff.
Yeah, the vacation club stuff. Yeah, so he does that in the park and everything, and he loves his job. That's amazing. Happy for him. But he was even saying, like, people would come to or like even online, they would say, like, they would, like, this whole family came to the park once, and they couldn't get in because they didn't make a reservation. So they blocked out all this day, came down with their family all ready to go, and then they're like, you don't have a reservation, you can't get in. Oh, can I get some, like, they had the tickets. It doesn't matter what kind of tickets you had tickets, but you did not reserve your days for those tickets. So I just feel like, it was bad.
Yeah, it's like one of those things that is a holdover from COVID when it was really bad, and now they decided, well, we can still use this to squeeze as much out of people as we can.
Yeah, pretty much. That's literally what he did. So I think there was just so much complaining, and that they're like, yeah, Iger, you need to come back in. So that was like an overnight shift where Iger came back, Chapek was out, and I feel like it did help a lot, but the Disney stores were still not back.
It's a big mess.
It is a mess. It is a mess that he had to come back and unfortunately clean up. And
Well, thanks for being here, Dave.
Yeah, this is super
This is a lot of fun.
I could talk all night.
we could talk.
We'll do a part
forever.
2. We'll do part 2.
I'll be around.
Yeah.
But it's good to hear how well you've done for yourself, and even like you're kind of early in your career, but already, you're doing stuff that you want to do, which is awesome, and things that you've dreamed about, which you don't often see, which is why Turpin doubted you. He didn't doubt your skills.
So I've been thinking about that comment, and I think
he doubted me, y'all.
I have to backpedal here.
Okay, go.
It's not that you made it. I think you made it so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I think that's what it is.
Fair enough.
And it's rare.
And I taught you in the first year in my career. Like you were my first year being a teacher, and it doesn't feel like I've been here that long. Like I still feel like I'm a new teacher, and you have gone from being in my grade 11 English class to your career. Where did the time go?
Yeah,
like you've been very, very successful in a very short amount of time, and it's amazing.
Thank you.
It's amazing.
We're trying here.
Yeah, I mean, we hear from grads sometimes that they're like, "Oh, my goal is to mine Bitcoin and retire when I'm 18." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, sure."
That sounds great. Awesome.
But I mean, you worked really hard for what you do, and you love what you do, which is awesome to see. So,
yeah.
Congrats.
thanks for sharing with us.
Yeah, always.
Very inspiring.
Woo.
Okay, thank you, Day. We've taken enough of your time.
Thank you. That's okay.
Come back soon.
I shall.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.